Hello, and welcome back to Atomfall. So, we should be going through the kind of end of the game and the epilogue and that today. Let's make our way outside. Preferably before it just falls on top of me.
What have you? Poison. You poison us all. You think you can escape with one of the other heathens?
Ooh, that's more of a
There's
Jaeger.
no escape from what you are.
Oh, we're gonna have to avoid this thing here, aren't we?
Without the voice, there is no escape from that small world inside your skull. Live your life alone in a fleshly prison then. To hear the voice is salvation. You are an act before the deluge. Fate is not
Run.
your friend.
They're not attacking me, they're not bothering me. Just leave quick.
And you earned it. You will never be offered it again. If you will not be with the voice, you only feed the soil. And that is all that awaits you.
Oh, it's definitely noticed me. Okay, I think we can just get out.
No war. You won't. Aye, that's bloody right.
Okay, druids everywhere.
We don't know you.
Heard something out there.
And they're all acting really schizo. Is poisoning good enough?
You have succeeded.
Hey, the phone's happy.
You took a risk. Now, Oberon is dying. And you have earned your reward. A way out. Go back to the beginning. Go back to where you awoke.
I can escape with the voice on the telephone. Interesting, okay. So we can take the telephone way out.
The poison's already beginning to take effect. Oh, I can feel it inside, where the organism still lingers. I've secured our evacuation route. Meet me in the tunnels beneath the medical lab. Come quickly, and we can leave this dreadful place for good.
Right, he wants to meet underneath in the medical lab. Right. We can go... We'll put a new save down here. Right. Here we'll leave there. Yeah, through here. Or not. They're coming in from Scavenge, I take it. Run. Right, over this way. We'll have to go through C, cause yeah, there's just all them druids there. So basically bits are going to be destroyed and I can't go to them. Oh god, and there's protocol soldiers trying to get in. Could we get there via D? Where's even the door or stairwell to go down? Oh, it's bloody there. That's sealed. So that's sealed. We have to go through the druids then. Right. I can do some inventory stuff here. We're gonna need some grenades to deal with them, aren't we? We've got another just like regular grenade. Yes, we have. That'll probably work. Right.
Buggies out there?
We don't know yet.
Well, we're gonna shoot. Well, we're gonna put that in while they're all bunched up. But I guess
What's this?
I'm taking a shot.
can't get through there. Can't. Yeah, can't. How the hell am I meant to get to medical then? And I'm stuck. Yeah. How the hell are you supposed to get to medical if it's sealed all the damn doors? That's a fucking good question, that. Right, how do I get to medical?
Something out there.
Oh, I saved it before I grabbed the grenades.
You will be more used dead.
Right, just...
Time to bleed. Watch out! You'll be alright.
Ow, ow, oh god damn. Yeah, they just spam attack you if they get close, right. We'll struggle to get through there. Right, what about the... Actually, yeah, the tunnels out front. If I go through here and then go to the right, there's access to medical there, isn't there? Well, there's protocol soldiers through here. Okay, how the hell am I supposed to get to medical? Right, that's sealed off. I can't go that way. Can I go that way? No, I cannot go that way. And yeah, there's no way of getting through. Ah, goddamn, it's stuck on bloody railing. Right, can't get through there. Apparently, right. Which again begs the question as to how the hell I'm supposed to get anywhere. Right. I could try B. Does B even connect to anything though? Never mind. We can't get to B. So the only place to go is through here. Right. I guess we'll overwrite that. Just so that it keeps us with them grenades.
Be you a threat. I can bloody hear you know.
And we wait.
Heretics, you bugger. They're killing us. Damn, unbelievable. Take this. You can't hide from me.
Heck! Right, come
Ah.
here.
You get and I'm trying to swap.
Where you heading, future?
And I'm dead. Oh my god, this is going to be an annoying thing. The problem is that you come out of there and you just get rushed immediately. There's no time to be like, oh, I'll just quickly, you know, get behind this or do that, or no, you get bum rushed. They're just literally camping the exit there. Right. But it is the only way that we can go. Right,
Lost him. Must have been
Losing
done.
people! I'm shooting!
You're fine. Keep going.
You would be more use dead.
let me crawl under the thing. Oh, for God's sake. It wouldn't be bad if I could group them all up and just use a sodding grenade, but I can't. And I'm trying to think how I can do this. And I'm like, well, I can use a shotgun, but what's going to happen is I'll get like the first 2 or 3, and then I'm just going to get shot. And it's going to be really annoying. Right, like, you just can't do anything quick enough here. Like, literally, he's just stood here with an axe. Right, 1, 2. Right. Get this one.
Unbeliever, do something.
And the next one.
You bugger.
Okay, we're getting somewhere. So basically we just have to hide here.
You cheaty.
You see, I figured that once we hid here that they'd all just stand at the back with bows while these guys would come in and just swing the axes, but I guess I was probably overthinking it.
Be more use dead! What's going on?
Come on, you lot. Take the fight to them. Heretics will die.
Right. Finish these off.
Hi.
Let's go have a look.
Oh, they're dead. That all of them? That would appear to be all of them. Right, bloody hell. We can probably get some more arrows and stuff off them. But I don't think they'll have much else. And quite frankly, I should probably be getting out of here. Immediately. Like, right now. Rather than worrying about... Yeah. I mean, is there... Okay, there's some stuff. We've got some bread. A little heal. Okay, that sounds angry. Let's just go in case all this is timed or something. Now, how the hell do I get to these tunnels? Like, so this doesn't lead to it either, does it? Medical. I can also go through here, but this is shut as well. How the bloody hell am I meant to... I'm gonna have to look this up, aren't I? Right, hang on. Okay. One quick look up and I've been going the wrong way. There's one way that we've forgotten about. The one way that I've not checked, and of course it's that one. Right. If you remember... Right. When we came back from robotics, we opened up a shortcut. One that I've completely forgotten about because we literally... One I've forgotten about because we literally used it only once in the entire game. And that is to go through here. I'm pressing the go, there we go, Christ.
Watch your step.
See, this is why we don't piss protocol off. If anything, Sims will be quite happy with us for this. He's like, oh, you've destroyed Oberon, lovely. He'll get to go home. Presumably. And as, yep, as you'll remember, because again I'd forgotten about this place, but yeah, it does take you into the central area, which is of course connected to everything, and therefore we can go over here. And we've not pissed off protocol to the point where they absolutely hate us, which means we don't have to fight our way through here. So that has benefited us in the end. We can then go through these tunnels. Straight through the tunnels. And now we need to find Holder somewhere.
You made it!
Oh, he's here.
I owe you every thanks. The country does. Damn it, the world does. The infernal whispering in my mind that has dogged me for 5 years, they're fading into silence. Blissful silence. Do you understand? The toxin is working. Soon the interference field will come down and people will begin to arrive from outside. There may be some awkward questions when that happens. People who haven't lived through what we have might not understand why we did what we did. Come on. We should leave before they arrive.
Okay.
Stay close. There's a secret route out here. With luck, these wretched blue eyes of ours will fade over time. Until then, we'll need to hide where no one can find us. Come on.
Dr. Alan Holder in his plan to create a special toxin to deal with Oberon. It certainly seems to have worked. Now you may leave with Holder, although his plans only ever extended as far as killing Oberon. You left quite the trail of carnage, didn't you? But sometimes violence is necessary, I know. You listened to good advice and wise words, which is to say, my advice and my words. So many shoot first and ask questions afterwards. Not you, though. Oberon is dead, poisoned by your hand, and the potent toxin developed by Dr. Holder. The interference field should rapidly fade now, and perhaps the outside world will finally see what has happened here. So ends the quarantine.
The woods are dark and the woods lie deep.
We'll quickly avoid any copyright music there at the end.
Woods are home to summer's dawns.
Let's try, just out of curiosity, what would happen if we were to just leave with just go back to where we started. So with this ending, well, wait for it. So with this ending, we're going back to the starting location. Right. Let's see what happens if we go out the way that the phone suggests. Right, so the phone says to just go back to where it began. We'll try to avoid hitting all the... They're not bandits. Okay, there's now druids everywhere.
Don't need dances or pick. Hey?
Just run. Ignore the crunching of your own bones. Yes, it looks like druids have somehow started taking over everything everywhere. Right. So it's literally turned into a goddamn war zone. And I've just run out of sprint. That looks bad. Ah, crap.
Stone the crows. I think I saw something. Hey!
You're the one going after me. Not the other way around here, pal. Right. Right, it should be just up here. And then, that'll be it. We'll probably get the same... I'm guessing we'll get a very similar ending. The phone and the holder ending seem basically the same to me. But at least from the sounds of it. We never came back and saw this guy again, did we? Oh, I can't even... Couldn't we trade with him at the start? I'm just trying to think if he were a trader or if he were just someone you talk to. No parting words on the telephone box. Well, we do get some parting words when we actually finish, don't we? As we've just found out. Right. To the bunker. Oh, there's even something we can dig up here. What do we dig up? We're coming back here. The Molotov cocktail recipe. Heh. That would have been brilliant to have at the start. Here's a good question. What does this do for us? Some bits and bobs. Yeah, I think there were... Oh! It's coming back to me now, actually. There were a tunnel at the back here that we couldn't actually... nonsensical calls. Now of all times, you decide that this is the perfect opportunity to indulge in this puerile tomfoolery, Haskins. Leave the telephone system alone. I'm tired of your nonsensical calls. Your denials impress no one. Not least of all me. Right. But yeah, there was a thing at the back here, wasn't there? Something we could... Ah, come on. This prompt is so finicky sometimes. Right. Yeah. This tunnel that we could open. Does this mean I could have left at any point once I'd obtained this device? Literally, the game could end at any point if you had wanted it to. Is that what I'm finding out here? Because I think it is. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe it was just some goodies. Right. There it is. A ringing phone.
You have done well. Thank you.
Who are you?
If I told you, would you believe me? We are what we do. That is who I am. You are what you have done here. You are done. You may leave. Do not distress yourself. I have never lied to you. And I tell you now, you will not die here.
Ah, we get gassed.
The gas is a necessity. When you awaken, all may become clear. live on. Perhaps just a voice in your mind. Did you ever consider that? You have learned much and come far. My apologies for the gas, but it was necessary. You listened to good advice and wise words, which is to say, my advice and my words. So many shoot first and ask questions afterwards. Not you, though. Gregarious type, aren't you? It's nice to have a good chinwag, isn't it? Oberon is dead, poisoned by your hand, and a potent toxin developed by Dr. Holder. The interference field should rapidly fade now, and perhaps the outside world will finally see what has happened here. So ends the quarantine.
The woods are dark and the woods lie deep.
Right. Again, we'll just skip the credits there because I'm unsure as if that's copyrighted music or not. Right. But yeah, it is definitely an interesting game. I think that, and I'd probably go and, I mean, it's quite nice. You can go back and just do the other endings if you've left a save there. Like the saves that we've got here. Not that I'm going to do it because it'll take, you know, probably like another hour of faffing and things. Going back and forth, because obviously we've done those two because they are saved and you can do those very quickly next to each other. But if I wanted to do, say, Sims's plan, we'd have to go all the way back here and it'd be another 30 minutes of going back and forth from that. And if we wanted to do Mother Jago's plan, we'd have to go before even that, because at this point I think I've loaded that stuff in, haven't I, that's gonna poison it, so I'd have to load to before that to like there and do the entire interchange again, which is like another hour. But mind you, I'd probably do it faster this time because I know what I'm doing, but you get my point. But I'm sure that you can, if you want to desperately look at the other endings, you know, you've seen all the way up to the ending here and you can probably just look at the ending really quickly on YouTube. I'm sure someone's got a compilation of them all. But yeah, it seems to be very interesting. So the endings, as far as I can see, and I'll probably look at these afterwards as well myself on YouTube. I think I'm probably just gonna see what the others are. But I'm guessing that it's probably Jago makes it grow, and just the whole area becomes a contagion. And honestly, I half suspect that Mother Jago is like the actual, you know, the voice of the soil itself or something. Some kind of mythical type person, you know. Sims is just going to turn the place into a crater. He's going to bug out, turn it into a crater. Jobs are good and hell, it wouldn't surprise me if Mother Jago making it spread everywhere, just the government just nukes the place anyway then. At that point, it wouldn't surprise me. Then, it seems like Holder and the telephone just have you kill it, and I do wonder though if poison is the only way to kill it, or if arming it ready to blow also kills Oberon, or if that isn't sufficient enough. I don't know. I'm not sure what Garrow was planning on, because obviously we didn't take her plan very far. I'm guessing that she probably wanted a sample. Because just looking at all the things you could do while you were there, you can either spray it with something, blow it up, or collect a sample. And I'm betting that you then have to take the sample to either Garrow or Tanner, depending on who you go with. So I'm guessing that there's 2 people who want samples. Then it seems that there's basically 3 people who want it blown to smithereens, and 1 person who wants it to be growing everywhere and to be fed, basically. Anyway, but yeah, it's got a nice, interesting story, and again, the fact that there's multiple endings as well. Some of them are very similar, like the 2 we've seen there, but the others seem to be quite different. Though it reminds me a lot of the ending of Fallout, where yeah, it ends in loads of different ways, but it mostly just results in a different end cutscene, really. But very interesting. So definitely a good job on the story. I would say the game, if I were to give it a rating overall, now you would probably look at it and go, oh, it's probably like a 7 out of 10, but I think the story elevates it up a notch to be more like an 8. You know, it's kind of... everything about the game is kind of... meh, except from the story and characters and that, which escalate it to being... you know, again, more like an 8 out of 10. So I'd definitely say, not only is it, I think it's slightly cheaper than a full price game, if I remember correctly. It's not quite AAA, it's like AA, though on the pricier end of AA. So it's more like, I think it's like a 50-ish quid game or something, but still, it is still on the higher end, but it's pretty good, and it's probably worth playing it, you know, having a couple of different saves so you can go back and experience the other endings and things like that. I could definitely see people doing you know, challenge runs where kill everyone, don't kill anyone at all, do something to other. But yeah, I'd say overall its strengths definitely lie not just in the storytelling and the characters and that, but also the the way in which it guides the player through the story, right? There is never, like, you never feel like the game is trying to hold your hand too much, but it's definitely, like, it's not so much it's not so much holding your hand, but it's definitely got its hand on your shoulder, kind of moving you in the right directions. It's like a nice in-between, where it's not like something like Dark Souls or something, where it's like, what, you want a quest journal? No. We're not even going to let you keep track of the conversations that you had with them. Forgot what they said? Well, I guess you're going to have to go to the wiki. So we don't want that, but at the same time you don't want to literally be, you know, oh, I'm playing, you know, a Ubisoft game and there's 15 different quest markers all pointing you in different directions on a giant compass with this all-encompassing user interface that blots the sun. You know, we don't want that either. So it's like a nice in between where, you know, it's not too intrusive that it's kind of telling you where to go and what to do, but it's nudging you there. So I do like its approach to the quests. I do definitely like that, and you find them all through, you know, leads and little notes, and you talk to people and that. And I do find that that's the best kind of like the best way to get a player to actually investigate things. You know, you kind of go, right, oh look, you've found this note telling you about a location, you should go there, ooh, there could be cool stuff, rather than, you know, you go to the quest board and accept the quest, and then it just puts a giant arrow on the screen telling you where to go, and that it feels much more natural and intuitive, and I think they're taking a bit of a leaf out of something like Fallout and the Elder Scrolls, sort of out of Bethesda's books there, because they're a bit more known for doing that sort of thing. It's really good. It's a real good idea in open world games to do that sort of thing. At least in my opinion. That said, yeah. So I think that's all the things that it's doing exceptionally well. Obviously, it doesn't do everything perfectly. I think if I were going to poke holes in it, I would say that the problems with the game... Now, let's start with the guns. So I would say that the guns, while it's perfectly fine, there's a good amount of them and all that, you can like upgrade them. It requires a skill. But the guns, they're not that interesting. It's not like because and this is the thing. You've to remember this is from the developers of Sniper Elite. Sniper Elite has a weapon customization system, right? They have the code, and keeping in mind that that game uses World War II weapons, many of which are actually in this game as well, such as the Lee Enfield rifle and the 1911 handgun, for example, right, and the Sten SMG, right? They literally have the code and assets in their offices to put a full weapon customization system in the game. They literally have this ready to just slot in. This isn't, oh, but it'd take a lot of time and effort to... it's like, all they would have to do is create the missing assets for the guns that don't feature in those games, which would probably be things like the Falkirk rifle and some of the other SMGs and things like that. And just add, yeah, those attachments and things in, and they would have a weapon customization system, right? It would be... I think that would be a nice improvement if they were going to do a sequel. And I would also say then, in addition to that, I would say other things that I would want them to add then would definitely be, I think a faction system would go hard in this game. I found it a bit strange when, as you try to escape after freeing Garrow, she doesn't take you with her into the interchange. I feel like she should have, and so you should go into the interchange, be like, oh yeah, I'm in the interchange now with Garrow, but you've burnt your bridges with Sims, and so your faction reputation with the protocol soldiers, so your faction, your protocol faction reputation will just drop to terrible. Because it seems strange that you literally mow your way through all his men, and I can tell you now, a British commander would be absolutely livid with you if you killed a single one of the people under their command. They probably wouldn't want to do any kind of deals with you again, and you mow through an entire base full of them, go back to him, have the audacity to show your face, and then give him a tidbit of information, and he forgives you for everything. It seems a bit farcical that happens. What should probably happen is you should escape with Garrow, and then there should be a faction-wide reputation loss with the protocol soldiers who will now shoot on sight. I actually quite like as well that all of the people in the zone don't immediately attack you. They will intimidate you and say, get out of here, go on, get lost and all that stuff, rather than just straight up attack you, right? But I feel like that would go really well again with a faction system. It's like that's how they should behave if you're neutral. But they should go immediately aggressive if you're in bad reputation with them. And basically getting on Protocol's bad side means you can't go to the village anymore, which will make traversal around all the locations much more difficult, and you'll probably have to rely on the sewer system that goes through Skeffamore to the other places. Not Skeffamore, Slattendale, sorry. You'd probably have to go through the sewer system there and make that be able to reach everyone. And once you've unlocked all the doors, probably use the interchange instead to get around. But yeah, the loss of reputation with Protocol being the punishment is you lose access to a village, and that really hinders you going through the game. You would feel the negative effects of that, right? So I feel like that would be, and again, then, and same with druids, and it'd be really difficult going to Casterfell and stuff. Then I can't help but feel like a faction system would be excellent here, right? I would even consider them being like, you know, ooh, you could have like an outlaw faction, and they could have like a leader or something, and maybe there's an outlaw victory or something, where they break out of the zone through the walls and the contamination gets out and spreads into the country because they break the quarantine, something like that. But I think there's definitely a few ways that you could take it, and again, I think a faction system would really open some avenues for that. Something to consider, I think, if they do a sequel or if they do another game sort of in this genre. I would say those would be the major things that I would ask for. Those would be like right on the top of my wish list, because it would just make that it'd make the I mean always on a shooter being able to tinker with your guns is always nice, but in a game like this where there's all these different people trying to pull you in different ways, faction systems work. Lastly, I would say that I think that I think a missed opportunity is the different resistances in the game. Like just putting it out there, I think I only once or twice encountered radiation, right? And there's a whole system for radiation resistance in the game. I think I encountered it once or twice. And each time there were a way to just get rid of it. I used anti-poison stuff a few times, but the main thing that you use is the infection resistance in certain areas in the interchange. So I feel like going through Casterfell Woods, there should be way more flora, as if like the interchange had leaked out into there. You know, Oberon had leaked out, and because they were doing all this stuff and trying to feed it. Like maybe they could weave it into the law. Oh yeah, if you just dump a load of atomic batteries into the growths, you know, into these growths, it massively accelerates them, and maybe the interchange would be covered in these. It would be covered in all these growths because it's got all those old atomic batteries, and that's why they're dead. Maybe they could kind of weave that into the narrative. And then as a result of them dumping all those batteries into it in Casterfell Woods, it's made it just grow everywhere in the place, and there's loads like poisonous plants and radiation hot zones, and the place should almost feel like you're wading through a jungle mixed with like the anomalies from S.T.A.L.K.E.R or something, you know, just like weird anomalous crap and growths, and you should feel like you're going through an alien planet with all these druids about as well. Kind of like how it felt at the end of the game, marching through to Oberon. I feel like that's how Casterfell Woods should have been going there, with all the building up to it, and it just wasn't. So I think they've missed a trick there. And while I'm talking about like resistances and how those skills and that from the skill system, I feel like it could be more in depth. And I feel like you could give out more training stimulants. I think it's a bit stingy. Not too stingy, but a little bit. I think that's most of what I would say though with the game. But again, it's excellent. And it's about the right length. It's a nice length where, you know, you can definitely, and you'd use save files. You wouldn't, you know, start all the way from the beginning again, you know, start from like a previous save just before you make a choice and that, and try to get all the different endings. It seems like one of those types of games. The actual gameplay reminds me much more of BioShock, like the gameplay and the structure of it, than it does say something like Fallout. I think a faction system would make it feel more like Fallout New Vegas. I've heard people comparing it to like S.T.A.L.K.E.R and things. It's not like S.T.A.L.K.E.R at all, you know. It's just it's got a similar setting. You know, there's a nuclear disaster. That's about all it has in common. That and that they're both first-person shooters. But it's very different from S.T.A.L.K.E.R, is this. Like I say, it feels more like BioShock without the plasmids. Which, and it's funny, like BioShock was it was a linear game. Every single one of them, a linear game with a somewhat interesting story. Though what was interesting is that each one had like a nice twist at the end, and that's what made them interesting. But the combat was kind of like absolute top tier on BioShock. This is kind of the opposite. The lack of plasmids and skills and the skills not being all that good makes the combat kind of just run of the mill and not very interesting. But the story is much better than BioShock's, and that kind of props this up to, again, being kind of... I would kind of make it compare it to that. I'd compare it to BioShock in terms of if you want something that's about as good as BioShock and kind of feels like it and has a somewhat unique setting. There's not many games in the English countryside, so just as there's not many games in an underground city or things like that. I'd definitely compare it to BioShock and say if you like that, you'll like this. But yeah. The interesting thing as well, just as a closing note here, what's quite interesting is that this, I found, is actually based on an actual nuclear disaster. The Windscale plant that actually happened. Did not know this before playing the game. It was apparently all hushed up a bit, but it all came out years later. Where we... basically there was a disaster, the plant set on fire, and was just pumping out loads of radioactive material into the air to the point where they had to they had to dump all the milk from the cows for a few weeks in the area because it was mostly just farmland around the place. But the big thing that really saved it, and it's very much like, yeah, we're on the good timeline, not the worst timeline. A guy called John Cockcroft decided to... It is like this, this Nobel Award-winning scientist who at the time said, no, you should have these big air filtration systems on the top of the towers. They should have been placed at the bottom, and they should have been put there way sooner. But when they eventually got round to asking him and taking him on a tour there, and he said, no, we need filters. You definitely should have filters. It's a massive, really good safety precaution, but installing them that late in the build would cost a load of time. It'd take a load of time, cost a load of money. Engineers didn't want to, but they eventually lost out to this John Cockcroft guy because he got this really big reputation of that. He was known for like splitting the atom and things, so bit of a big deal. He got his way, and it prevented 90% of the radioactive material from going into the air. Which kind of goes to show that, yeah, this really could have gone much worse, and you should always have these kind of precautions in when you're doing anything with nuclear technology and nuclear energy, that sort of thing. And apparently, like, the hero of the day was also a guy called Tom. I think it was Tom Towney or Tom Towie, who peered his head over the top of the chimney that was spouting out all the nuclear waste, and put a big fire hose up there that pumped the water in to stop the thing from just completely setting ablaze and just blowing up and becoming an absolute, well, a much greater disaster. So yeah, interesting that they've kind of based it all on that. So it is kind of based on it's all based on the setting of a true story. So anyway, very much enjoy my time with it, and again, nice to see, and they've really got the English aesthetic nailed, which it's to be expected. I think it's Rebellion are an English studio, but oh yeah, they absolutely nailed the countryside. And I do hope we get a second one. Again, either another Atomfall, or if not an Atomfall, then some game in a similar vein to this. Because they're known for making the Sniper Elite games, and I'll be honest, like, I mean, I've just played the latest one because both this and Sniper Elite are on the Game Pass, which is why I've been playing them. But they're getting to a point where they've played out World War II at this point. I think Sniper Elite, they've done Western Europe, they've done Africa, they've done like the resistance movements, they've done... the only thing I can think of now is that they could do it with... It could be Russia, maybe. Maybe they're going to do Russian snipers next. I don't know. They could do the Russian front. They could maybe do some stuff in the Pacific. But then I'm kind of like, okay... So there might be like 2 more games in that series before they're kind of clutching at straws. I don't know if they'll just start doing remakes then, but... And they've done zombies as well. Because it makes sense, you know, a game about slow-mo sniping things in the head translates really well to just a zombie game, would you know. People also like slow-motion shooting zombies in the heads. But I feel like this could be a nice way for them to get a second IP out the door. And they can kind of work on an Atomfall, then they can do a Sniper Elite, then they could do an Atomfall, alternate between the two so they're not doing not doing one of them to death. Because I will say, I think it's one of those, but a lot of games, the heart grows fonder with absence and things, you know. Maybe doing one franchise to death isn't a very good idea, but if you make it more of like a 6-year gap in between entries, well, the brilliant thing with games is that by then technology's moved forward and you could literally make the same game again, so long as if you're using modern day graphics and you introduce a few design elements that have been featured in similar games since, you can actually release basically the same game, but it feel completely new by that point. So yeah, you get that a bit with well, quite a few games, but yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's nice to see them getting another major IP to their name. We'll see what they do with it. Anyway, there'll be more on the channel going through. I'm guessing by the time this is being put up, it should be mid-May. I'm thinking about how many I've filmed in the backlog. Because if it isn't obvious, literally I sit down and I'll play these in like 3-4 hour stints and just film a bunch. You know, it's not... So by the time you're watching this, and then because I put them every other day, you know, it'll have been weeks since I've filmed this, but I'm guessing it's probably mid-May by this point, or maybe toward the back end of it. So at this point there should be some... Let's see, I think it's Drop Duchy I'm going to be doing in May, and then at the end of May possibly some Elden Ring Night Rain, but other games will be on the channel. If you want to give them a watch, just pop a subscribe on the button below. Go to look at the channel, see what else you like. There's plenty of series, I tend to organise them into playlists. So they should all be available to watch in order if you want to go about doing that. Thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you in future videos on the channel. I'll see you then.